Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So on the most recent episode of Teen Mom 2, Briana and her fiance Javi, they broke up. Now on this episode, she straight up said the reason they broke up was because she went and did this podcast with Lopez, and the icing on the cake was the article that came out that said MTV was not there. She told her family that Javi thought she had lied about the crew being there, and that's why they broke up, right? I took notes. I went back and watched the episode again, and I took notes because now she's saying that is not the case, that is not why they broke up, that her going on Chris Lopez's podcast was not the reason they broke up. So let's rewind a little bit because like I said, I went and I took some notes. Okay, so early on in the episode, or actually not even this past week's episode, but the week before last, she was talking to her friend Shirley. And she told Shirley that if Javi is feeling some type of way, she really don't give an F, right? She didn't care. When she told Shirley this was before she actually did the podcast, but they were already in Philly. They had already rented the Airbnb, and they were waiting for Chris and Brad to arrive. So they were talking about the situation. She was telling her friend Shirley that Javi was not happy, and she was like, I really don't care if he's happy or not, right? Now, this past week's episode, they go on a little vacation, her mom, her girls, her sister, and they invite Javi and Javi's two daughters. When Javi arrived very late at night to the Airbnb, you can clearly tell he's tired. Also, Brittany mentioned something about like their Uber getting lost, so it took them a little bit longer to get there. When he gets there, Briana would not even give him a hug. He goes over to like hug her, and she's just like stiff as a board, right? I guess he like senses that she's not for this hug, so he's like, never mind. He goes and hugs everybody else. He pats Nova on the head, and Brittany's like, how was your trip here? And he's like, we made it, we're good. He sits down beside Briana, and Brittany takes all the girls to show them the room that they're going to be staying in. So he sits down to talk to Briana, and he's like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't feel good, I got a headache. And she says, and my breath smells like garlic. And he jokingly says, well, I love garlic. And she goes, well, I'm just tired, I want to go to bed. And he tells her, well, go to bed then. And at that point, she looks irritated. She's like irritated that he told her to go to bed. But I'm like, it seemed like that's what you wanted him to say. Like, you're talking about how bad you feel, and then you talk about how your breath smells terrible. In my mind, I thought she was saying that maybe so he wouldn't try to kiss her or anything. Like, oh, I got terrible breath too, so don't kiss me. Then he says, well, I love garlic. And she's like, I'm just tired, I just want to go to bed. After that, we see a scene where Roxanne is sitting outside with Briana, and Briana is talking about how once again, she just don't give an F. Roxanne's asking her, like, what's the deal? Are you checked out? And she says, yeah, I'm checked out. We also see a little clip of her sitting on the bed where she tells the camera, she says, I'm checked out. And I haven't had the conversation with Javi yet because I know once I do, it's going to lead to us breaking up. So she knew this is where it was going. She knew they were going to break up. Once they get back home after the vacation, she tells the cameras, as it's like panning into her part of the episode, her segment, and we can see the outside of her house. She tells the fans that her and Javi got into a big fight and they broke up. So on that particular segment, her mom is like, what happened? What happened between you and Javi? And she almost verbatim says, it was the podcast that I went and done with Chris. And the icing on the cake was the article that came out saying that MTV was not there. So he thought I lied to him. She straight up says that to her family as the cameras are rolling, that it was the podcast. And then because she told him that MTV cameras were there, and then the article came out to say that they weren't, he felt like she lied to him, and they got into an argument. It doesn't say who broke up with who, but Roxanne, she's like, that's control, Brie. That's control, Brie. And I'm like, I think I would be mad too, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, I think I would be a little bothered if my fiance flew somewhere to meet a girl that there was this weird connection to, like, an enemy. It was like the baby daddy of an enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seemed like it was petty. She's not getting paid to do this. Would not make sense to me. And then if it sounded like my fiance lied to me, yeah, I would be mad. Like, I get it. Sometimes, people can be insecure, but I don't really think this was insecure on Javi's part. I think Javi had every reason to be a little worried and concerned and wonder, like, what is the deal? Why are you really going to do this? This is not business. That's one thing that Briana said. She said, I need a man that's secure. I need a man that's going to be like, go ahead, baby, go handle your business. I'll be here waiting for you when you get back. Well, that wasn't business because you didn't get paid for that. all you got was a lot of drama. It just started drama. You know what I'm saying? And I think Javi is mature enough that he knew that. Javi has never really cared for all this publicity. He wasn't really comfortable with the cameras. Briana's even said he was not comfortable with the cameras. He didn't understand my world. But I just think he was like too grown for it. You know what I'm saying? Like the fame, he doesn't care about fame. It didn't mean anything to him. I just think he was like too mature. And I think he knew, like, girl, you're not getting paid to do this. It makes no sense for you to go over there. The only thing that's going to come from this is drama. And you're my fiance. I don't want it. So I understand why he had some reservations, why he was aggravated, why he was frustrated. But Briana's flipping this to make it seem like he's controlling and he's insecure within himself. I don't think that at all. And, you know, Javi's not a bad looking guy. I mean, he shouldn't be insecure because he's pretty nice looking, right? So anyways, Briana is now flipping the story to say it was not Chris's podcast that led to their breakup. So Briana confirmed in August that she was no longer engaged to Javi. This was just 3 months after the two got engaged. Briana spoke to The Sun, and this is what she told The Sun. She said, I know people are speculating that we caught off the engagement because of Chris's podcast, but there was more to the story. We weren't on the greatest of terms, a lot of arguing and miscommunication. Briana added that Javi also wasn't the biggest fan of the camera crew that often accompanied her. She said he never understood the TV life, the attention on social media, and he wanted me all to himself, and that wasn't fair. According to Briana, Javi was also unsupportive of her having positive co-parenting relationships with her baby daddies, Devon and Lewis, nor did he like her hanging out with her two best friends. I feel like he probably didn't want her going clubbing and always on the party scene. I don't know. I would just be really shocked if this was the case. Like, that's not the vibe that I get from him, but you never know. You never know. It could be. When I read her saying that he did not want her hanging out with the two best friends, it just makes me wonder if it was like in certain circumstances. Well, does he not want you guys hanging out at all? Or is it just when they're going like clubbing and stuff like that? Is he like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with my fiance still going out to the bars, drinking when I'm not there? You know, that could be a little bit more understanding. I don't know what man would not want his fiance or wife to have a good co-parenting situation with her other baby daddies. Javi has 2 children, so I imagine he has to co-parent with their mothers. So I would imagine he understands a little bit, how it is or what it's like to co-parent. And he also would know that you need to have a good co-parenting relationship with your children's parents. So I'm not really buying that. I just don't know. She went on to say he viewed me as a piece of property and not as a wife. So I started to check out. I stayed as long as I could because I loved his kids so much, and I still do, but it wasn't the best place to keep myself in. She went on to say that she was very sorry for everything that happened between her and Javi, but she is not sorry for calling off the engagement. She said, I feel free and better, and I'm sure he feels the same way. Now, despite, them breaking up and all that happened, Briana said that she did love Javi, but he just wasn't the right person for her to marry, which is not what she said when she announced their breakup. It's really weird because she's like, I love him, but he's just not the right person for me to marry. But when she announced the breakup, it was a little bit of a different story. She told The Sun, though, she said, I loved Javi. He has amazing qualities, such a great man, great dad, and overall just a great person, but he's just not my person. Now, when she announced their breakup, people started asking questions. This was back when she announced the breakup. Someone said, what happened to you and Javi? And she said, nothing crazy. I came to the conclusion that I thought I wanted to be in a relationship, but in reality, the thought of it sounded nice, but I'm just not ready for it. Had a great year with him, but right now I have other plans. Maybe in the future we will meet again. I love him and he's a great guy. So when I read what she said there, I really believed it. I just thought, well, maybe it just wasn't the right time, like right person, wrong time, right? And maybe later on down the road, they would get back together. But now she's saying, no, like he's not my person. Like I like him, great guy, whatever, but he's just not my person. She says he's, insecure. He didn't like the life that she lived. He was so controlling and everything. And I really feel like if he was that controlling, we would have heard Roxanne talk about it a lot more. Like, I really feel like Roxanne would have been pushing her to break up. But Roxanne was like, if you're happy, stay in it. If you're not, don't. But I feel like if he was controlling, Briana would have already been telling her mom about, situations that may have occurred where he was controlling. And her mom would have really been pushing her to break up with Javi already. Like I said, on that little statement that she said, maybe they'll meet up in the future. I really don't think that'll ever happen now with everything that she has said about him on the show. And also, Kel Lowry recently posted on her Instagram that she was interested in getting a tattoo from Javi, which I would have to imagine would tick Briana off. And I just don't know why Kel would do that because, once again, petty Betty here. Like, I'm kind of team Kel with a lot of the stuff when it comes to, you know, Briana going on Chris's podcast. But girl, if you go get a tattoo from Javi, you're just playing in the mud. You know what I'm saying? So if it gets messy, it's your own fault. You know, like, stop it. Kel, you go to therapy. You've learned all these techniques to try to control yourself. Stay away from the messiness. If Briana wants to continue, the world sees it, and most of the world picks up on it. Or, you know, Teen Mom people, everybody watching because we're fans of the show. A lot of people, I feel like 90% of the people are Team Kel in this situation because they do feel like it was messy for Briana to go do the podcast. And not only that, she wore his shirt back home. So it definitely looks like she may have slept with him. Now they have this lawsuit where Kel is basically asked the judge, we would like to find out if Briana slept with Chris. And if the judge says, okay, Briana, you need to let us know if you did because Chris is the one that gave you this information that Kel is saying is not true. So if the judge says you have to tell this, and if Briana says, well, yes, I did sleep with Chris. Just say Briana did sleep with Chris, which I think she did because she wore the shirt back home. She was very touchy-feely. I don't know, just something didn't sit right with me with the way that she was, oh, Chris, and the way she acted. If she slept with him, if she really slept with him, after watching the way that she acted and the way she treated Javi, acting like, oh, this is business. He's so insecure. Now we know that she texted the other Javi trying to meet up, said she wouldn't tell nobody. And then we would know that she slept with Chris Lopez. Shady, shady Meg Shadester, right? You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that she did sleep with Chris Lopez? And if you do think that, what do you think about how she acted on the episode where she just acted so innocent and like Javi was just being so insecure? Wouldn't that just be like so wild? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, her saying, you know, Chris wasn't the reason they broke up, but on the episode basically saying that was the reason they broke up. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.